Hello, everybody. My name is meteorologist Hutch Johnson, joining you this afternoon as we begin a new work week. Beryl, tropical storm Beryl, making its way further inland, and it continues to bring chances and problems with flooding and even active tornado warnings in the pink boxes you see flashing there across portions of northern Louisiana, eastern Texas, and now pushing into southwestern Arkansas as it makes its way in that general direction of Little Rock, Arkansas. Now, here is a look at these storms. And again, these tornado warnings coming from the bands that are working their way in. Some of them are particularly dangerous type situations. They move very, very quickly with these. And again, inordinate amounts of rain. We're going to go over all of it. We're going to take a look at the latest tornado warnings that are going on right now, flood warnings as well. And then we'll take a look as we go through what the forecast is with regards to the latest from the National Hurricane Center with regards to Beryl and its movement now into the Central Plains and the Mississippi River Delta. All right, you're looking at the satellite view, the greens here, those high cloud tops. So you can kind of see the system spinning its way right here, working its way up right into the Bossier City area as we take a look a little closer, Natchitoches, all the way out to Longview, Texas, seeing active warnings taking place at this particular time. I'm going to flip the radar data on now from the satellite, and you'll get a chance to see some of the active tornado warnings. We're going to start south and work our way north, and it's not in any particular order. All of these are dangerous situations. We have an observed tornado warning, observed tornado, and some hail only 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and flash flooding going on with this particular storm that's making its way Kashada out and moving north. So this storm moving north at 40 miles per hour is a confirmed tornado on the radar, with debris being picked up and likely going to cause some catastrophic damage with that. Make sure you're seeking shelter in the interior room. Put as many walls between you and this storm as possible. Not always a lot of basements out in this part of the country out there, but a tornado shelter is certainly something that would be very, very advisable. Now let's take a look at the latest radar from this area as we zoom in. Mansfield, it's right over the top of your area. You see the little bite taking on the storm. We're going to take a look at the latest on the reflectivity data, and well as now the velocity data, looking for the spin in the storm. And again, this is something that's an ongoing thing. It changes very rapidly with these storms as they're making their way through. So we'll let it loop, and you can kind of see that essentially we definitely have these very fast moving bands working their way in. These storms move north and out of the tornado warned area as fast as they're moving in. Here is the area I'm concerned right now. Pushing towards Mansfield, we see this little area of greens next to reds there with some velocity and some spin taking place with this. So a dangerous situation heading in that general direction of Mansfield. Now we'll move up to the next storm. I want to go out toward the Longview area here. Let's see if that's still in effect as we zoomed out. That tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So we'll continue our move northward now. And this one here is a radar indicated tornado from the storm that is in the general vicinity of the Bossier City area and Benton. So if we take a look at the latest warning details on this particular storm, again, from Shreveport, the warning is in effect until 5:15 Central Time. It's moving north at 35 miles per hour, and basically is located 15 miles southeast of Bossier City. Again, a tornado with dangerous debris. It will be estimated to be at Bossier City by 4:35. And it's now 4:38. So it should be right over the top of your area at this particular time. Moving towards Foster's and Eastwood by 4:50 and on towards Benton by 5:05 because of its rate of movement. Now let's see this green and red display of colors that you're seeing here, showing us where we have this tight rotation being picked up with the storm. Wow, moving right over Highway 71. It got bright right there. Right here, that particular part of the storm is the rotating part. It is moving up into the Bossier City area as we speak. 81 degrees, winds with the storm system being measured now at 15 knots as we take a look in the area here. We'll go ahead and look at the gusts, 24 mile per hour gusts with the tropical system as it works its way to the north. So there's one more tornado warning just to the north of you, another radar indicated tornado. This one a little bit more difficult to pick up on the radar. You can see it there moving through. This is not far from Minden, and you see this little change in the velocity or the speed picked up by the Doppler radar right in here. That's the location of the tornado. It is just now as the crow flies north of the I-20 corridor by only about 7 to 8 miles. This one looks like it is also moving in a northeasterly trend. Let's take a look at what the radar says, and the Doppler says a 40 mile per hour movement to the northwest. So that one's moving fairly quickly. Again, seek shelter in that interior room. Again, do not stay in things like mobile homes, manufactured homes. You need to find shelter in a sturdy structure that is attached to its foundation. Moving on to the next tornado warned storm right here. This one not far from Cotton Valley and Homer. Oh my goodness, look at this. So we zoom out just a little bit so you can get the lay of the land. You're looking at Louisiana and the border with Arkansas. So now we're looking down in at this storm, and this is a strong one, folks. This is the strongest one that we're seeing right now, right here. Do you see that? That is a clear couplet, a lot of active lightning with this particular storm. This one is going to be just a few miles off to the west of you, rather, in the Haynesville area. So the center of rotation right here is well, let me see. I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong tool. As the crow flies, this is going to be, turn that off. There we go. There it is. We're looking at, oh, pardon me, getting a measurement, 5.5 miles to the west, southwest of the Haynesville area. So that's where the center of rotation is right there. It's moving to Shongaloo. If you're in the Shongaloo Highway 521 corridor, the Highway 159 corridor, that is exactly where that storm is moving. Moving to the northwest at 40 miles per hour. We'll pause the movement. Let's give you a little bit of a update on the track of this particular storm as it works its way to the northwest at 40 miles per hour. I'm going to put it in about 43. I increased the speed estimated by radar for a couple of reasons. They can sometimes speed up, and sometimes there's a buffering in this broadcast. So I want to make sure that you get the information as fast as you can. Old Shongaloo, 9 minutes away from your particular area right now, 4:39. I've got 4:41 on my current time. So 4:41, 4:39 was the last scan by the Doppler radar when this was. So in 9 minutes, it will be 4:48 as we work our way up to the north and to the west there. Heading towards Old Shongaloo, Plainfield by 13 minutes from now. So as we approach the 4:52 time frame, it will be near you, and Walkerville in the next 15 minutes. So again, seek shelter. This looks like a dangerous storm. I'm going to read the National Weather Service's text on this one. Moving northwest 35 miles per hour, capable of producing a tornado. That looks like a very clear, what we call velocity couplet on that particular storm. Radar indicated rotation. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed completely. Get out of shelters like that and seek shelter in something much more sturdy. So that one there is a particularly strong looking couplet showing up on the radar right now. Now, as we zoom northward, I told you I go south to north. We got one more here heading towards Texarkana. This is a particularly dangerous situation. The National Weather Service, when it has an observed tornado and it's a particularly strong tornado, this is the type of language they use. So this is a very dangerous tornado. Let's get right to the latest text. This was issued at 4:23, so a little while ago. We'll get you the latest radar scan. Moving northwest at 40 miles per hour. It's a particularly dangerous situation. Please take cover now. This is a damaging tornado, not a small one. And emergency managers have confirmed a tornado on the ground from this particular storm, moving again northwest at 40 miles per hour. Let me get you into that storm moving towards Texarkana right now. Texarkana, it's moving right up the I-94 or 49 corridor from Fuke all the way up towards Texarkana now, and it's moving at that 40 mile per hour clip. Let's take a look at the location and the expected, let me see here, arrival time. I'm going to put in about 43 miles per hour, speed it up a little bit for the same reasons as I talked about before. Ferguson Crossroads, in about 7 minutes, it will be near you. Texarkana, 18 minutes, it will be in your general vicinity. If you have not watched Hutch, I'm a meteorologist. I have 30 years of broadcast experience. I've worked teaching meteorology in the classroom for the better part of 20 years, as well as some research experience in my past. And I like to bring the latest information to you here on my channel. So thank you for watching. Here's an information for Texarkana, though. 22 minutes away from you, this storm will be moving towards you in the southwestern fringes of Texarkana itself. Again, this one has some very strong language. It is an observed tornado, and it's not just any old tornado. It's a strong tornado as we take you in. It's right here by north of Jonesville, north of Fairland, and right over this Fuke area, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My apologies if I am not. Taking a look a little bit closer at some other fields in this, and we can take a look and see if we're seeing any debris being picked up by this. We know that we're hearing reports from the emergency managers that this is a tornado that has been shown to be on the ground. Again, there's what looks like some three-body scatter spikes taken on from some possible hail cores in that storm as well as it's worked its way through. Let me look at one more product here from the dual pole radar and see what else I'm seeing. Okay, so what we're looking at here is differences in the reflectivity between a horizontal beam and a vertical beam. And the higher the difference in these two different beams returns says that maybe those objects aren't perfectly round. And if they're not perfectly round, they could be some debris type stuff. So these higher values that we see here in the differential reflectivity could indicate that there could be some debris in the air. So again, this is a dangerous storm. It's in the same area as what we saw with regards to the velocity couplet right here. If you put your finger right in this spot where we're seeing the enhanced areas of differential reflectivity, and then we put up the velocity, we'll look at the storm relative velocity. Is it in the same spot? It's very close. And as we take a look at other velocity products, is it in this? Oh my goodness, that's very, very bright velocity couplet out here. As we take a look at the radar site that this is being measured from too, it's not too far away down here. So we're going to be looking up inside the cloud just a little bit. I'm going to go up to a different scan, a little bit higher into the cloud, and take a look at the spin in that. And we see that the spin is still there. So even though we're taking a slice of the lower part of the cloud and the upper part of the cloud, we're still seeing that very tight rotation there with regards to this particular storm. It's a very dangerous storm. And again, it's moving right towards Texarkana at this time. One more warning to update you about right now, and then we'll get on to the forecast and where is Beryl going and who needs to worry about that. 30-mile-per-hour northwesterly movement from this storm. This one is basically over the Rocky Branch area at the time of this update, which was 9 minutes ago. It's moving again 30 miles per hour to the north and west. So this movement around the tropical storm has most of these winds and storms moving in this northwesterly direction right now at a clip of 30 to 45 miles per hour. So again, that's the direction of movement. Here is a closer look at the velocity field with this storm. We'll go ahead and take a look at the velocity. That storm warning was just canceled right now. So the spin in that storm, I was having trouble finding it, and that explains why the warning has been allowed to expire. You could kind of see that there was this greens next to reds right here, drifting here. This area right here is drifting off to the east a little bit. That still is showing some signs of rotation or whatever. So many of these embedded thunderstorms in the bands working their way out. All of these green boxes you see here, these are warnings, flash flood warnings taking place in many of these locations. Let's go take a look at this one. The Shreveport office issued this for Gregg, Harrison, Panola, Rusk, Smith, and Upshur counties in Texas out there until 6:15 tonight. So amount of rain out there that has been a very abundant falling from these storms. As we take a look at estimates from the Doppler radar of rainfall from this storm, as we take a look at what some of these colors mean here, where you see these brighter colors here, those are heavier amounts of rain. We'll get the crosshairs out and let you look and see 4 to 7 inches of rain have fallen with this storm in and around this little whitish area here, not far from Timpson. So we go up towards Longview, these storms are continuing to pound this area with heavy rain right now, and 4.6 inches of rain estimated by the Doppler radars in that vicinity. So flash flood warnings taking place for these large areas in around parts of eastern and northern Texas. We're also looking into parts of northern Louisiana, as well as now pushing into the Texarkana area and the southwestern corner of Arkansas. So from Camden and into the southwest corner near Hope and Texarkana, there will be a risk for some tornadoes there tonight. Now, as you can see here, it's a little bit difficult. There's a lot going on this graphic, but I will zoom out just a little bit. These red boxes you see here, that's a tornado watch. That tornado watch for southwestern Arkansas, northern and western parts of Louisiana, and eastern Texas is in effect until 10 o'clock Central Time. So for the next 5 hours and 12 minutes, we have a chance at seeing some tornadoes in these areas from Beryl, from the bands, from the entrenched thunderstorms within these bands. Severe thunderstorms are also possible. There could be some hail and gusty straight line winds, but the tornadoes are really the main risk with these storms. So now let's take a quick look after we've done looked at the tornadoes and the warnings, the floods, the rainfall estimates. Now we're going to look at the track of the storm. Speaking of rainfall estimates, if you happen to be down in the Houston area, a number of flash flood warnings, Houston being hit with a lot of heavy rain this year as well. But as we look from the central part of Houston and downtown, flash flood warnings in place, and flood warnings, I should say, in place throughout most of these areas for the next 8 to 10 hours, as you can see. So a number of flash flood or flood warnings in and around the Houston area. And look at these rainfall estimates here as I go ahead and put the crosshairs on this. Do you see these numbers here? 11 inches of rain as we get down toward Pearland down here, about 13 and a half inches of rain looking into greater Houston in the downtown area, 9 to 10 inches of rain. So Beryl has hit quite hard. And we also have some advisories down in these areas, storm surge warnings, where we see the blue counties here. These are storm surge warnings for Texas City, for Galveston. And this wind blowing up this way has storm surges on the east side of the Houston area. So that is where the storm surge is expected to be the greatest and continue to be the greatest. This storm surge warning, let me turn off the crosshairs here, in effect for the next 7 hours. Let's read the details on this particular warning here. Local forecast 30-mile-per-hour winds with 50-mile-per-hour gusts. Uncertainty in the track size and intensity of the storm surge. But with that, it says, prepare for last-minute efforts for your property, and the time to act is past now. It's very, very threatening out there as we go through. Shelter against life-threatening storm surge greater than 3 feet above the ground. So that gives you an idea, that storm surge that's making its way pretty far inland as well at this particular time. So those are the dangers that hurricanes bring to our coastal areas. Not only the storm surge and the wind with the initial landfall of the storm, then after the storm makes landfall, we still have this problem with this storm surge. And now the bands are producing tornado and tornado outbreaks in parts of northern Louisiana heading into southern Arkansas. Now let's take a quick peek at that forecast from the my friends at the National Hurricane Center that do an outstanding job. Now you're going to look at his cone forecast here, and we'll look at this together and we'll talk a little bit about what they mean. As a meteorologist, this is nothing that we can track the exact track of. That's why we use a cone, and those cones get a little wider as time goes out because our uncertainty gets a little greater as time goes out. So let's take a quick look at that forecast, shall we? Again, if you have a comment right here, a question, please drop me a line. Let me know where you're watching from. My name is Hutch Johnson. You're watching Hutch's Weather. Love to have your subscriptions right here and likes on the videos if you like what you see. And again, pretty dangerous situations taking place out here. Let's get a look out at the track now as we look at the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Here is the latest location at 4 o'clock this afternoon, right in East Texas. And the depression is expected to be a depression now from a tropical storm. The farther it gets from the coastal waters and makes its way inland, but it goes right through central parts of Arkansas. This is going to impact places like Little Rock, Pine Bluff, and points north, all the way up into the Boot Heel of Missouri. So if you're down here in the Boot Heel of Missouri and southern Illinois, you're going to start feeling the effects of this into the overnight hours and into your very early hours of Wednesday morning, Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. After that, look at where it goes. Way up here in the Ohio River Valley, we're talking about Lake Erie and all the way up into Ontario. And it will pack a moisture punch with it as it continues its trek along these tracks. So that's the latest on the forecast, a little bit on the timing from my friends over at the National Hurricane Center. That's a look at the latest with a tropical storm now, Beryl, expected to weaken to a depression as far as winds go, but the track will continue to bring some storm risk tonight, severe thunderstorms and tornado risk. As it moves northward, there will still be a risk of some very stormy situations. We'll keep you updated with the risk of tornadoes and the like from this tropical storm and soon to be depression. That certainly can be the case with the spin and shear that will be available in the atmosphere. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. Thanks for your likes and your subscriptions. Stay tuned. And